PSN is once again offering insane deals on PlayStation games, but this time, we're only looking at the best PS5 games we can grab for the lowest price. I am going to start this list with Need for Speed Heat, 90% off for $6. One of the better NFS games in recent memory, and at 90% off it is just a no-brainer. You do day racing for money, night racing for rep, deep car customization, and a really fun map to drive around in. If you are an NFS fan, this one's a great option. Then we got Alan Wake Remastered, 85% off for $4.49. If you have not played the original Alan Wake, and you were thinking about jumping into Alan Wake 2, this is basically required reading first. The story of a writer whose fiction comes to life in a Pacific Northwest town is gripping, and to be honest, pretty eerie, and the remaster holds up really well. Or you can go for the sequel, Alan Wake 2, 70% off for $18. One of the most visually stunning and creatively ambitious games on PS5. Remedy went completely off the deep end in the best possible way. 2 interconnected stories, live action sequences, mind-bending narrative, and some of the most impressive visuals the platform has to offer. If you want something genuinely unlike anything else you have played, $18 for this is just a steal. Speaking of mystery and story, I might also suggest you check out Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened, 90% off for $4. A detective game that crosses Sherlock Holmes with Lovecraftian horror, and it works really well. The cases are engaging, the atmosphere gets genuinely unsettling, and $4 for a full mystery game with this kind of unique premise is just an easy pickup. And if you want even more deals beyond what PSN is offering, check out ENEBA. You can find game keys and discounts across every platform all year round. Like right now, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered for $1.60 at 96% off. Tomb Raider 4, 5, and 6 for literally 30 cents. And if you want PS5 specifically, they have cheap keys for Returnal, Black Ops 6, God of War Ragnarok, and a whole lot more. And if you want to actually earn while you game, they have this platform called Snacksy, where you get rewards just for playing. Use my link in the description, and you also get a $10 welcome bonus just for signing up. Link is down below. Then we got Like a Dragon Ishin, 80% off for $12. The spin-off set in 1860s Japan during the Bakumatsu period, and it is one of the most unique entries in the whole franchise. It offers serious dramatic storytelling mixed with completely absurd side content, the trademark of the series. The combat is great, and the historical setting is stunning. Then we got Hollow Knight Voidheart Edition, 50% off for $7.49. One of the greatest Metroidvania games ever made, and the Voidheart Edition includes all 4 content packs on top of the base game. The world of Hallinist is stunning, the combat is tight, the lore is deep and mysterious, and the amount of content you are getting here is just staggering for an indie game. Then we got Gungrave Gore, 80% off for $6. A stylish, over-the-top third-person shooter where you are a resurrected hitman with 2 massive guns and a coffin on his back. This one's really like pure action, no pretensions, just loud, flashy combat that feels really satisfying when it clicks. I think for $6, this is a decent pickup if you want something loud and fun. Then we got Watch Dogs Legion Gold Edition, 85% off for $15. The concept of recruiting literally any NPC in London into your resistance is genuinely wild, and the Gold Edition includes all the DLC content on top. The execution does not always match the ambition, but $15 for the complete package with everything included is solid value for an open world game this size. Then we got something more unique and underrated with Heavenly Bodies, 66% off for $6.79. This is a physics-based puzzle game where you are controlling a cosmonaut with ragdoll limbs completing tasks in zero gravity. It sounds simple, but the loss of control over your own body makes everything hilariously difficult. The co-op is really fun, and for this price, it is a charming and unique little game. Then we got the popular Dead by Daylight, 60% off for $12. The asymmetric horror multiplayer game where one player is a killer hunting down 4 survivors. It has been running for years and still has a massive active player base. The not so good is that the Dell costs are pretty significant if you want the full roster of killers and survivors, but the base game at $12 gives you plenty to work with, and the core gameplay loop is genuinely tense and addictive. Then we got Scarlet Nexus, 85% off for $9. A fast anime action RPG where psychic soldiers fight brain-eating monsters using telekinesis to hurl objects at enemies. The combat is creative and satisfying, the dual protagonist story gives you two different perspectives on the same events, and $9 for it is a fair price for a solid, if not spectacular, action RPG. Then we got Sea of Thieves 2026 Deluxe Edition, 50% off for $25. The pirate adventure game that has grown massively since its rough launch into one of the best live service games out there. Sailing, treasure hunting, ship battles, and the complete chaos of encountering other players on the open sea. The deluxe edition includes extra cosmetics and content. Then we got Vampire the Masquerade Swansong, 50% off for $30. A narrative RPG set in a world of darkness where you are playing as 3 different vampires navigating a dangerous political crisis in Boston. The writing and world building are really strong for fans of the setting. The gameplay is slower and more dialogue heavy, which is not for everyone, and $30 is still the priciest thing on this list. But for fans of the universe, it is worth experiencing. Then we got Gym Manager, 50% off for $5. A management sim where you build and run your own gym. It is the most modest game on this list with the lowest percentage discount, so temper your expectations. But $5 for a casual management experience is a low-risk pickup if that is your kind of game. Then we got MOTE The Old Office, 50% off for $4.74. This is a short atmospheric puzzle adventure set in an abandoned office building. It is a quiet and contemplative experience with some clever environmental puzzles. Not a lot of people know about this one, and for under $5, if you enjoy walking sim-style exploration games, it is worth taking a chance on. Then we got Sonic Frontiers, 70% off for $18. The first open-world Sonic game, and honestly one of the best things to happen to the series in years. Running across massive islands at full speed, fighting giant bosses, and the story is surprisingly emotional for a Sonic game. It is not perfect, and the open world can feel a bit empty in places, but $18 for a game that genuinely reinvented Sonic is a solid deal. Then we got Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, 58% off for $29.39. One of the most beautiful open world games ever made set in feudal Japan. The combat is elegant and deeply satisfying, the world is just stunning to explore, and the Director's Cut includes the Iki Island expansion, which adds a significant chunk of extra story content. Under $30 for the complete Director's Cut of one of the best PS exclusives ever made is a genuinely great deal. And then we have one of my favorites on this list, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, 57% off for $30.09. Miles Morales is one of the most heartfelt and well-crafted superhero games ever made. The story is genuinely touching, it's even got one of the best web swingings, and Miles' unique powers make the combat feel completely fresh compared to the Peter Parker games. The Ultimate Edition includes a remaster of the original Spider-Man game on top of everything. I think $30 for both games is just an outstanding deal, and the perfect note to close things out on. If you are looking for more games, don't forget to check out my other video where I talk about the 30 best PS4 and PS5 games on massive discounts, even more so than this one. Alright, that's all for this one. See you next time.